Shell never liked hearing, "That boy is something else." It wasn't about his 4.0 GPA, his smooth swing on the golf course, or how he could quote James Baldwin in one sentence, Maya Angelou in another, and Tupac in the next. It was about how people didn't expect someone who looked like him, black, tall, hoodie wearing, from the east side of a small South Georgia town, and for good measure, black, to be someone they admired and even allowed in their homes. He knew what it meant. They didn't know where to put him. He didn't fit in their boxes, so they just called him different and hoped he didn't remind them why the boxes were there in the first damn place. He stopped caring a long time ago. At least, he tried. He cared when his twin brother Raheem rolled his big ass eyes every time Shell came home from golf practice talking about tournaments. He cared when people assumed he only got into AP classes because of some athletic pass, when in reality he tested at the top of the entire school. And he cared about Mars. That was Bay. They met in a beige-walled tutoring room inside of the media center, both scheduled for the same after-school math help session. Sort of. Shell wasn't even supposed to be there. He was already passing Algebra 2 with a high A, but Miss Grant had asked him to help out once a week. "Your classmates listen to you," she said. Mars was new on the scene, fresh from D.C. Her accent was noticeable and northern, her presence sharp. She walked through the halls like she didn't need anyone, which meant people either tried too hard or stayed away. She was sitting at the table already when Shell walked in, head down, pencil tucked between her fingers like a cigarette. "You the tutor?" she asked, not looking up. "Yep. Miss Grant always begging, and I could use the cash, so I'm here," Shell replied. "You the student who's about to stop hating math?" She smirked, eyes flickering up for the first time. "We'll see. If I flunk, I'm gonna need a refund." They worked. He talked her through slope-intercept form like it was a story. He explained functions like he was decoding a secret. She nodded, scribbled, occasionally argued. She learned. Fast. After 2 months, she didn't need help anymore. But she kept showing up like she'd left her car keys. Studied. Sometimes they listened to music. Sometimes they talked. He told her about his grandma, about Raheem, and how golf was his ticket out of town. She told him about her dad, a doctor, strict, distant, and how she didn't feel at home anywhere yet. But things were coming around. He liked that she wasn't impressed by him. She liked that he didn't need her to be. They never announced anything. It just became real. One Saturday morning, Shell finished up a quick round with his coach and stayed behind to work on his short game. On the putting green, a man in slacks and a Titleist hat was lining up the same putt over and over. Missed it left, 3 times in a row. Shell hesitated, then walked over. "Try keeping your front shoulder down through the release," he offered. "You're popping up early." The man turned, brow furrowed. "You always give swing advice to strangers?" Shell smiled. "Did you ever hear about the rose that grew from concrete?" The man raised an eyebrow. "Tupac, right?" Shell nodded. "Even something rare can grow when nobody else suspects it." Then he nodded, more matter of fact. "I'm Marshall here on weekends. Helps with bills at home. And I get to play for free. I give private lessons, too. Picked up a few regulars just from standing on this green giving swing advice to strangers." "You hustle golf?" the man asked. "I hustle opportunity." Sterling studied him for a moment. "You got a name?" "Shell, short for Shelton." "Well, Shell, I'm Sterling. Nice to meet you. You free next weekend?" "I can be." "Bring a friend. Let's play 18 at 8 a.m. Rounds on me." Shell nodded. "Sounds good." They played the next weekend, and the one after that. Shell didn't know Sterling was Mars's father, and Sterling didn't know Shell was the boy from school his daughter hadn't named. They just bonded over the game, tempo, course management, mechanics. Sterling liked Shell's patience. Shell appreciated how Sterling listened and took critique. There were no deep talks, no questions about family. It was all golf, which was kind of odd, seeing as though they were both black golfers, which is a rare thing in their town. One morning, after they wrapped up a tight front nine, Sterling nodded. "You ever think about going further, state level, by this season? I just gotta stay consistent." "You from around here?" "Yeah, east side." Sterling gave him a sideways look. "You don't sound like you're from the east side." Shell smirked. "I don't think concrete has an accent." Sterling laughed. "Touche." Following around a few weeks later, Shell checked his phone and sighed. "Car's in the shop. My brother forgot he was supposed to pick me up." Sterling didn't hesitate. "Hop in. I'll take you." The ride was quiet at first. They passed cotton fields, cracked pavement, a rusted-out gas station. "What do you want to do after high school?" Sterling asked. "Something that helps people. Something that lasts. I think about urban planning, designing systems that fix what's broken. Don't stay poor by accident." Sterling blinked. "That's a real answer. I get that a lot." They pulled onto Shell Street. Modest homes, weathered porches, but everything clean. Pride in the paint jobs. Dogs barking behind fences. Kids on bikes. A woman stepped out onto the porch in a wide-brimmed hat. "That your mother?" Sterling asked. "My grandma," Shell said. "She raised me." As they slowed, she waved, warm and confident. "You must be the one Shell's been beating at golf," she called out. Sterling blinked. "Excuse me?" Shell laughed. "Dr. Sterling, meet my grandma." Sterling's face changed. Shell hesitated. "There's something I should tell you." Sterling waited. "I'm the boy your daughter's been seeing." Silence. "I didn't know you were her dad until a few days ago. She didn't know I'd been golfing with you either. Just kind of happened. I'm her math tutor. That's how we met, after school. Been helping her since you moved here." Sterling looked back at the porch, then at Shell. Really looked. Then softly, "Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one ever cared." Shell nodded quiet, rooted. Sterling nodded back. "You play next Saturday?" "I'll be there. Bring a friend, and Mars. Let's all play together." He paused. "Round's on me." Shell smiled wide. "Say less. I'll even bring my A game." That night, Shell sat on the porch, Raheem laughing loud at the TV inside, his grandma humming in the kitchen while fried pork chops lingered in the air. He didn't just want to be seen. He wanted to be understood. And maybe, just maybe, that was finally beginning to happen. Meanwhile, across town, Dr. Sterling parked in his long driveway, his lawn trimmed, his porch was spotless. His was the only black family in the neighborhood. He walked into the quiet house, untouched dishes still stacked in the dining room. He couldn't sleep. All he could think about was Shell's porch, the way his grandmother carried herself, the way the neighborhood, though modest, felt full of life, full of pride, real. He thought about how his patients didn't look like him, how his own daughter didn't know the people 3 blocks away, how far he had drifted from where he began. The next week, he called a realtor. By Friday, he had keys to a small brick building just a few blocks from Shell's house, a former dental office, boarded windows but strong bones, the heart of the neighborhood. He texted Shell, "Meet me at 9 a.m. Saturday, 143 North Line." Shell showed up in joggers, confused but curious. Sterling stood in front of the building. "I bought this," he said. "I wanted to be something for your neighborhood, a tutoring and mentorship center, academic help, golf lessons, a place for kids like you." Shell's mouth parted, stunned. "You'd run it. I'll pay for the building. You build the program. You train, you teach, you grow." Shell blinked. "You serious?" Sterling looked at him, solid. "No matter what happens between you and Mars, I know where your heart is. And it brought me back to mine." Shell swallowed, looked down at the keys Sterling handed him. "I'll make it count." Sterling smiled. "I know you will." And for the first time, when he entered his home and shared the news with Raheem, Shell appreciated hearing the words, "That boy's something else."